Welcome back to CB and Unscripted, everybody. I'm your host, Jasmine Monk, and I am really excited about today's episode. I'm joined by Caitlyn Johnson, the new head coach at Weber International University. And what's wild is, guys, she used to bowl there herself. She's alum. So she went from being a student athlete at Weber to competing professionally in the PWBA. She was working as a general manager for Lucky Strike Entertainment. And now she's back leading to the same program that helps groom her. So I am excited to dive into all of that today. Caitlyn, thank you so much for your time and welcome to CBN Unscripted.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So let's just kind of take it back a little bit. Before, I know you have some titles, right? From being on tour, the coaching, like, take me back to when you were at Weber. Take me back to like your time at Weber. Let's just talk about your experience at Weber, but how did you even get to that point, right? Because I talk about this all the time that I didn't even know that college bowling existed. And so kind of what was your path into bowling collegiately?
So I actually I learned about college bowling pretty early. The bowling center I grew up at, actually, there was a bowler that was going into college about the same time that I started, and she was going to Pikeville. So they bowled a Tier 1 tournament every year in Marietta, which I believe they still do that. But at the time, we went to go watch her because we were close by, living in Charlotte, so it wasn't too far. And I saw the Weber team, and I don't know, something just like instantly pulled me to them. And like I watched them for like 3 games. My parents were like, "Where are you at? Where have you been?" And I've just been behind them watching the Katie Thornton team, watching Randy coach. And so it was really cool. And so I went back whenever we got back home later that weekend. I looked up Weber International, found out that they practice at Kegel. And so that's how I found out about the Kegel Training Center and started practicing there and training with Dell and Randy. And yeah, I never really looked anywhere else. It was just it was like an instant pull. Like that's just where I wanted to be. Kegel felt like home, and whenever I was around, it just felt like home, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's how I ended up at Weber.
Wow. I mean, that is like so rare. That
It
is
is.
unique. That's cool. Yeah. While you were there at Weber, like, did you ever think about coaching at that time? Was it in the books? Was it in your mind as far as after I graduate, this might be something that I want to do?
Not really. I didn't really want to do any coaching, especially at the collegiate level. I didn't. Once I was done with college bowling, I was like, I'm done with college bowling. I'm good. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm like the cheers, the travel. I'm good. I can live without
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And ironic now, huh? So
Yeah.
whenever I left, all I wanted to do was grow the sport of bowling. And the way I was looking at it was, well, if kids are already going to college for bowling, like they're already involved in it. Like that's not growing the sport. That's not getting more people included in the sport, which is actually how I
Yeah.
ended up working in centers. And I was able to get people that just came in to hang out on a Saturday afternoon with their family. Getting them to join league was like my number one goal. And so that was my biggest thing. And I was able to grow quite a bit in the different communities that I ran bowling centers in. And eventually, somewhere along the way, that ended up being exhausting, and it's a lot to manage different aspects of the center. It was taking away from my personal life and from my own bowling, and I miss it. I miss competing. I miss being out and being able to just have a good time, and me being the one throwing the ball down the lane and not just watching other people do it all the time. So at the same time, my coach Randy had passed away a few years ago, and Dell is having. He was ready to retire. He's like, I'm ready to step down, and I wanted to be able to hold that legacy up that they created. Randy was with them for 15 years and Dell 18. So
Wow.
that was a huge legacy. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to continue that and, kind of be able to take some more time for my personal life. And I think the both kind of happened at the right time for me finally.
Yeah, timing, right? Timing, right? We
Mm-hmm.
can't, it's all God's timing. We can't, like, we don't know, right? Like, so I think that's so cool. That, and everything happens for a reason. Like, we don't know
Mm.
why. Like, I took a similar path to you after I bowled collegiately, and I was managing bowling centers as well. And then I started my family. I was like, I can't do this. And I took a break. Like, I took a pretty long break, like, no bowling, no really interaction with bowling at all. And boom, like, I was like, I can't do it anymore. My kids are older, so I'm back, right? So I'm not really
Yeah.
bowling as much as I want to these days, but College Bowling Network fulfills me enough to not have the itch, right, as bad to do that.
Yep.
So I love that. I think that's cool. But let's talk about, right. So you bowled at Weber. You have some accolades, and then you kind of took it to the next level after that, right? So you won your PWBA title holder. I want to talk about that because, bowling collegiately and then bowling on the tour, and I'm talking specifically for women. The men, I feel like it's a slightly different path.
Yeah.
Majority of them, 1,000% go on tour, but on the women's side, it doesn't seem that is as prominent. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. Like when you were bowling at Weber, like, did you know that you wanted to go on tour? Was it a thought? Did someone have a conversation with you about it? Like, what did that look like for you?
So whenever I was looking into Weber, we didn't have PWBA tour at the time. That didn't come back till 2015, which was my junior year of high school. So whenever that finally relaunched, we didn't know what to expect out of it. We didn't know if it was just a flash in the pan or if it was really going to last. Thankfully, it has. But didn't know what to expect. So I'm in college and not really thinking about bowling afterwards, just wanting to grow the sport and be able to continue the growth of the sport. That was my biggest goal, right? So whenever I did bowl a few PWBA tournaments whenever I was in school and thoroughly enjoyed it, had a great time, loved to be able to compete in it. So once I got to I'd probably say my senior years, whenever I made the decision, I wanted to go on tour after school. And I wanted to bowl internationally. There was a lot of international events that were going on at the time. Unfortunately, I graduated in 2020 and COVID happened. So that took a pause on, yeah, it took a pause on everything. I had a lot of flight credits after that because I already had everything booked for the season. So, up until I want to say like the first half of the season. But anyway, I ended up obviously canceling everything, moving back home to Texas, and just working. And so thankfully that did happen for me anyway, just because I was able to save up some money, get some more practice in, kind of learn a little bit more about the daily grind of bowling for money instead of bowling for fun. College to me was bowling for fun in comparison. Obviously, it was very competitive, but bowling for money, it's a different game for sure.
Yeah.
Fighting for
Finding games.
am I having McDonald's or am I having Texas Roadhouse? Like what are our options tonight?
Right, exactly.
So I got a little bit of experience with that, with bowling in Texas, bowling in Houston and Dallas. There's a lot of competitive bowling in those areas. And even during COVID, there was a lot of competitive bowling. So once I went on tour in 21, I went full time, and I got my teeth kicked in. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. I made some cuts. Didn't make some cuts. I made only one top 12 and not a single show. So it was brutal. I had a wrist injury right after, so I took a few months off and I started working full time in the bowling centers. So that's whenever I kind of stepped away from the competitive aspect and I wanted to grow the sport. As I've said like a million times, but really, honestly, like that's my whole goal in life is to grow the sport. So I was okay with not throwing the ball down the lane. And if I could bowl a tournament here or there, great. But outside of that, growing the sport was the biggest thing. So then we get to 2023, so a couple years later, and I've been running centers. I haven't bowled a stop. Haven't bowled anything competitively, really at all, and maybe a couple local tournaments here and there, but not really. So, I was like, you know what? I want to go bowl. Just go see my friends that I haven't seen in 2 years. Go have a good time. Throw a ball down the lane. Hopefully knock some pins over, and have a good week with some people that I haven't seen in a very long time. So I went and bowled. Took PTO for it. Had conference calls during the week and the whole nine, and accidentally ended up winning pretty much. But the pressure of the money aspects kind of got taken off of me. So I think that helped a lot mentally. And yeah, so it's definitely a completely different outlook on it, I guess. I wasn't fighting for what meal am I going to have tonight. It was more of like, I'm here to have a good time. I want to see my friends. I want to bowl and enjoy it again. And I think that kind of brought that aspect of it back.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. She just answered one of the questions I was definitely going to ask. I was going to ask, like, what did you kind of learn about yourself while competing professionally? So I think you just kind of alluded to that. But one other quick question that I have while we're talking about this is, how did competing at that next level, like, what did it teach you about pressure and having confidence and kind of all of those things? Because I think it'll be great for the audience to hear, right? Because you had a moment in time where, like you said, it was like you had the win, like you said, Texas Roadhouse or McDonald's, but then you came back and you were just a little bit more relaxed and you were able to finish all the way through. So what advice could you give to our audience, right? Because it could be youth watching this right now, a current collegiate bowler. It could be coaches, parents, regular league bowlers, all types of people, right? That may be watching this right now. What advice would you give to them regarding like confidence and just really kind of what you learned during that journey?
Yeah, so I actually I was taught something at a young age, which unfortunately I kind of forgot whenever I was on tour, and I did some self reflection on this after the fact. But Dean Rojas, he fishes professional. He fishes the Bassmasters Tour. He told me whenever I was super super young, like if you're trying to compete for money, just stay home. There's no point. It's a sport. It's a game. And I mean, he's in bass fishing, so it's completely different sport, but same concept, right? So, unfortunately, I forgot the fun aspect. I forgot the doing it for the sport and the love of the sport, and it hurt me. It hurt me bad on tour. So, the advice I give is that if you're doing it for the money, if you're doing it for as income, or you're trying to support a family or whatever, stay home. Don't think about that stuff. Enjoy it. Enjoy bowling, and it takes that extra little pressure off, that little niche. I mean, the things that money can drive people crazy, right? So
Oh my God. Yeah.
you see it all the time, especially in the corporate world. And
Yes.
so that's definitely my biggest advice is just love the game that you play, enjoy it, and just do your thing. And the money, the titles, the recognition, like it comes after. Whenever you're enjoying what you're doing, you're able to be a little bit freer. That 10 pin falls down a couple more times. You might not stonate as many, or 710 like I did all day yesterday. It's rough ball reaction for a couple days.
So everybody, by the way, Caitlyn's she's bowling the queens as we're recording this right now. She's actually bowling the queens, so that is what she's referring to.
Yep.
The fact that she took out a couple minutes out of her day to record this with me means the world. So that's what she's referring to, everybody. So everything she's talking about right now is also likely so that she can keep herself locked in and focused when she bowls this next qualifying round later today. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have just a little bit more, and then I will let you go. So now you've got to go focus. I want to kind of jump back to Weber. So I am so excited for you. Like, girl, like we met, we talked last year, and I was like, man, I'm gonna follow Caitlyn, and I saw that announcement about new head coach, and I like lost it. I'm like, I'm so excited for her. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I remember we had such a good conversation, and so I want to like talk about the culture that you're going to be looking to build. You said like some things I think just in us talking today, but I just kind of want to sum that up and wrap it up with a bow. What kind of culture, like I know you mentioned like continuing the legacy, but what kind of culture do you personally like? Are you looking to build as you come in as the new head coach at Weber?
Big thing for me is the competitive culture, like wanting to bowl on tour after the fact. That's one thing that the Weber team had. I mean, we have a few women that bowl full time, but we don't have a women's program anymore. So there's not very many men that do it full time after the fact. I think currently there's three that from Weber that still bowl on tour. And even then, it's you know as many guys as many competitive and very great bowlers that we have that come out of the program. I really want to help them understand and know the game a little bit better. I know you mentioned earlier that usually guys go bowl on tour, but actually I'll argue with that. I think more women bowl on tour after college, especially now that PWBA is like so much bigger and we have the PTQ. And everything. I
Yeah.
mean, there's just so many men that come out of college bowling. There's so many men's programs.
Yeah.
NCAA, there's a lot of NCAA programs as well. And there's a significant amount. Like if you go to a D1, you're probably going to bowl on tour. If you're going to Vandy, Nebraska, Arkansas,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, SFA whenever they were around, Sam Houston even,
Yes.
so if you bowled there, you're probably going to go on tour afterward. Not guaranteed, right? But yeah, if you go to Wichita, you're probably going to go on tour. If you go to Weber, you might bowl a few events, but that's about it. So that's something that I want to build is that competitive aspect and teaching the sport of bowling to the players so that they know and they can grow and they can go out and bowl on their own and they know what the lane is, what the bowling balls are, layouts, being able to have a conversation with their ball reps whenever they go on tour events and things like that.
Yeah.
And, there's some aspect of that already built into the culture. I just really want to emphasize that aspect and really build on that. So not really changing the culture. The culture, I think, is very set. We have what we call the Weber way. And there's different aspects to it that we really build our team on. And it's a lot about actually morale more than anything. And so it's really great. It's building great people after the program, which is what I love to see. So continuing that legacy, but also adding the competitive bowling aspect to it.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I'm like, where's my notepad? You said a lot of stuff today. I'm like, but I can always go back and watch it. So good. No, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. I want to talk about college bowling. So it's changed a lot over the years. What changes have you seen, when it comes to college bowling? I know you're an advocate for the sport, and I adore that so much because so am I. But what changes have you seen, and where do you like see college bowling like headed?
I think it's a lot more organized than it used to be. We've adopted USPC has adopted a lot more of like the NCAA, NAI type rules, so it's a lot more structured, I believe. So, and we have conferences now in NAI, and NCAA has their conferences, their nationals and stuff. So, I think it's cool to see the similarities on how bowling's being treated as like football and baseball, basketball, name it, right? Like any other sport. And I think we've gotten a little bit more in line with being a structured competitive sport in college, which I think is really awesome to see, especially bowling's typically an individual sport. So you make it a team sport and it gets a little weird. The rules get tricky, the scoring gets a little different. And being able to structure that, I think the USBC, NAI, and NCAA have both or all three done a great job in making bowling more team competitive whenever it comes to college. So that's a big shift, I guess, not really change, but shift that I've seen versus whenever I was in school versus now. Figuring out the rules that work for each sport and making it competitive in college and opening up doors and opportunities for even the smaller schools to have their own program.
Yes.
whether it be club or not, but at least they're getting involved and the schools are able to, have the backing of the NAI or NCAA. And so it's really cool to see, even at the smaller level, you got your big state schools, but you also have your small like D3s and your smaller NAI private schools. So it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. And there's so much I can say, but it is not my interview, so I won't do it. But no, you nailed it. You nailed it. Yes, I'm on a podcast right now. I'll be off in a minute. Okay, mommy, dude. Okay, I'm almost done. Give me 5 minutes, please. You have to sit over there. I'll be done in a minute. Okay,
Hi.
go sit. I'm recording. Go sit down. I'll be done in a minute. Okay, so last question here, and I promise I'll let you go. If there's an athlete right now, which I know that they're watching this, they're listening to everything we're talking about, they're looking to figure out their path, what would you tell them? What piece of advice would you give to them?
I would say that, looking at the whole picture is not a bad thing. Keep your eyes open, keep your mind open to different options and choices. I actually have a player that I've been working with. She's in high school right now. And she's about to go into the recruiting aspect, go on visits and stuff. I'm like, keep your eyes open, like keep your mind open. Really look at the whole picture and soak it all in. Enjoy the moment because it's gone quick. I mean, the recruiting season's like 3 months, right? And then you're dedicating yourself to a school for 4 years. Hopefully, everything was everything you wanted it to be, and your 4 years are amazing. And then afterwards, 4 years really does go by super fast. I know they always tell you that, but it's true. And then you're in the real world.
It does.
And it gets crazy in the real world. Like, that whole free will and decision making stuff is wild. Life can change really quickly, and just enjoy every second of it, and keep your mind open. Anything can happen.
I love that. Oh, thank you. I appreciate everything. Well, I appreciate your time so much today. Again, you guys, she's at Queens right now as we're recording this. Thank you for your time. Make sure that you guys like, share, subscribe. Go follow Weber International. Caitlyn will be stepping into these shoes, which she already has. And make sure you follow them for the 2026-2027 season. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much.